Good morning, everyone. So you're the lucky ones who have to listen to me, the first speaker. So I hope this is interesting for you. It's going to be a career path type of presentation. Some of the things that you're going to hear today are probably things that you already know, but I hope I will be able to give you some advice based on my experience that may be helpful. So I'm Michalis Rikakis. My most recent roles have been CPO in Workable. I've also been a product manager at Google. I was heading product at Cinch. I was a product manager in Nokia. So I have like more than 15 years of product management experience, and I've been through all the different seniority levels, let's say, in product. So I hope, this is going to be interesting for you. I'll give you some of the takeaways from my experience and my career. All right. Unfortunately, I was backstage when you were raising hands who are product managers and who are software engineers. So I don't really know how many of you are familiar with product development lifecycle. I am guessing probably most of you. But just to set the scene so that, let's say, we're on the same page and we talk with the same terminology. A product is not something that you just build and ship. It's a complete, it goes through like a full circle, where you start, let's say, from the idea discovery. And you need to figure out what you need to build and why. And also you need to validate your hypothesis, if this is correct. Once you do that, then you need to go into the details, understand what are the exact requirements from a customer perspective, and start putting those down and design your solution. Then you go to the implementation, where we're making designs, where the engineers are writing code. As a product manager, you need to oversee that stage. Then you go to launch, which again is a set of activities that again the product manager needs to oversee. Things like go-to-market activities. If you want to be doing some limited launches like alphas, betas, closed betas, open betas, stuff like that. And then after the launch, you don't just forget about the product, you need to monitor and improve. And once then you figure out what needs to be improved, to improve, then you go again through the same circle again. So this is, let's say, the product development life cycle, and all of that, let's say, is under the responsibility of a product manager to oversee that all of these stages are happening as they should. So in terms of, let's say, market research, so in the initial phase of the product life cycle, a product manager needs to understand what the market needs, where things are going, what competition is doing, these type of things. Then the product manager needs to set the vision and the strategy for the product. What will the product do? What problem it's going to solve? What's going to look like in a few years? Then once you sort of have that nailed down, you go into roadmaps, you break it down, you do prioritization, you start doing planning, you define features, and then you start preparing for the launch activities that we discussed. And finally, you need also to be tracking the performance. So all of those are key tasks, let's say, for a product manager. So having set that as a base, let's go through the different, let's say, stages, or let's say career stages that a product manager normally goes through today, and see how that fits, let's say, with those responsibilities. So the initial position that one can enter the product management, let's say if you go in a vanilla, let's say, career path, and you don't jump in product manager from a different role, is an entry-level PM. If I would be using one word to explain what an entry-level product manager is doing, is basically executing, right? So from the life cycle, the different sort of steps in the product life cycle that I showed before, the entry-level PM or a junior PM is the one who gets their hand dirty in each of those stages and start testing the waters, getting the first experience. For example, let's say in market research, they may be assisting in customer calls, or they may be doing a competitive analysis for a specific feature. So things like that, this is where a junior product manager will start, let's say, getting some experience in that. They can be supporting in terms of roadmap, for example. Maybe they are responsible for a small feature. They need to prioritize, let's say, the stories or the different sprints when things will be delivered. Another thing that they are very sort of commonly involved in is performance tracking. So they are responsible for a specific feature. They need to look at the analytics. They need to look at, I don't know, Hotjar, recordings, in order to see how things are going, if the product is performing well or not. So this is basically like an entry level for product managers. From there, once they start getting some experience, they also get exposed to basically all of the teams in a company. So they will be talking with sales, they will be talking with marketing, they will be talking with support, they may be talking even with legal. Of course, they will be talking with all the R&D, like engineering, design, etc. So they are exposed to like the whole company, start understanding who is doing what and how everything fits together. So from there, it's a good starting point in order to start advancing to the next level. If you would ask me what are the necessary skills to become a junior PM, it can be your first role. You can be out of university. Usually it's either an engineering degree or a business degree, even marketing degree sometimes. That is more helpful. You need also to have good communication skills. You'll be talking with everyone, basically, in the company as a product manager, so this is a must. And you should also have good analytical skills and decision-making skills. Prioritization, decisions based on data is basically the whole life of a product manager. So this is by far the most important skill that one needs to have. So let's say you made it as a junior PM, you started implementing your first features, things have been going well, you're getting experience, you're getting more features out, you're having successful launches. At some point, the company will recognize your efforts and they may promote you to a senior PM. What's a senior PM? It's basically a product manager who is responsible for a larger part of the product or a whole product, depending on company size and how big products are in your organization. And here you have a much sort of stronger say in terms of the strategy. So what does my product do, where it needs to be, why, and how do we get there? Definitely, a senior product manager is the one who's overseeing all of the phases that I showed you before from the product lifecycle. So a senior product manager needs to oversee that market research is happening, all the analytics are being looked at, they have talked with all the customers, they have gotten all the feedback, they have processed all that. They have a very clear sort of roadmap in terms of what we need to build and why and when. And they're also the experts in their field, in their product. They'll be the person who everyone in the company will eventually go to if they want to ask a question, a specific question on the product. And definitely decision maker in terms of everything that happens with that product. So basically then you're an expert. You're probably the person in the company that knows best what is happening in your product. This has, the senior product manager has an impact in basically three, let's say, different aspects. One is in terms of business, right? And this should also sort of reflect, the goals and the expected outcomes from a senior PM. One is the business impact, right? So you as a senior PM is responsible for your product and how that performs. The performance of a product is basically the business impact that it brings, right? If customers are happy with it, is it growing? Do we get more customers? How's retention doing? Do we have high churn? Customer satisfaction, revenue, right? So all of those aspects are under the responsibility of a senior product manager to make sure that they hit the goals there. Secondly, has to do with inside the company, the communication and the collaboration with the development team, but also with the rest of the teams with the company that I mentioned also before, and how, let's say, they are able to understand what the product is doing, when they will be doing what they're delivering, how they're going to sell it, how they're going to support it, how they're going to price it, things like that. So a senior PM is responsible for that as well, to make sure that all of that is clearly defined, communicated in time, and coordinated. And finally, you are probably team leader now, right? As a senior product manager, you're going to have junior product managers under your responsibility who are sort of helping out with your product, and you are responsible for mentoring them and leading them. So you have also a responsibility as a group leader there. Here it's worth mentioning that in different organizations or different products, there are different types of product managers. So for example, one of them is a technical product manager. This is usually a role that we see in companies that have technical products. Maybe you're a platform as a service company, I don't know, selling APIs, which are performance specific, which are delivering specific service or values. So usually in such companies with very technical products, you will see this kind of role. A technical product manager is a product manager who's deeply involved in how a product is built, how exactly it is designed, and needs to have a very strong technical background. Then we have a business product manager. It's also a common role for companies who they require a specific person to be sort of focusing on the business impact of a product. So that person would be responsible for the business model, for pricing, for plans, how we go to market, this type of activities for a specific product, and offloading probably another product manager who's actually responsible for building the product. There's other sort of product managers that can be found in different organizations, such as a UX-focused product manager who is, let's say, overseeing the experience of a product. Again, different companies, different organizations, and different types or sizes of products have different requirements. So let's say you see these roles appearing as, you know, what basically from what is needed for each of those cases. All right, so we made it, let's say, to a senior product manager. What's next? Becoming a product leader, right? Usually the roles that we see in product leadership is probably a VP of product who is now responsible for the whole product team, is responsible for the performance of the complete product suite, is definitely responsible for aligning the company goals with the product goals and ensuring the impact that the product will have to the business. And the highest position from a product ladder perspective is a CPO. And that person, again, has everything that a VP of product would be doing, but is also responsible for basically shaping the impact that the product will have in the business. Definitely driving innovation, probably responsible for a wider organization, not just product management, but maybe design, UX research, I don't know, product marketing, so different types of, in some organizations, even some, development teams could fall in there, but basically a larger sort of a set of teams which can be reporting to a CPO. A CPO is responsible for ensuring that the product organization is designed in a way to ensure maximum efficiency for the company, is responsible for the whole organization, for all the different sort of departments, for finance, for sales, for support, for product, for R&D, to make sure that all of the information is passed when it should and in a manner that is consumable for everyone, and is definitely a stakeholder in terms of the performance of the product. What you need in order to get there, first of all, you need to have a very good, apart from a product understanding, you need to have a very good business understanding. Understand where the company is, what it wants to achieve, So, for example, maybe the company is in a growth state, or the company could be in a state where they want to increase profits or reach, I don't know, a break-even point. So these are different types of business, let's say, strategies of a company, and the product needs to be aligned with that because it can basically directly affect the business based on the decisions that we take on the product. A VP of product or a CPO is a leader. So they're basically the person representing a large part of the company and the product itself. They're responsible for ensuring that C-level, board, etc., are all on board with the product roadmap, with the product goals, with the strategy and the vision that they have put out for the product. And finally, they're responsible for scalability. So scalability not only comes in terms of the product itself, but also in the way that we deliver the product as a company. How to make sure that all of the processes are as efficient as possible. The communication is very clear. There is no friction. The teams are working to their maximum efficiency. Employees are satisfied and do not leave. You keep the best talent. You're able to attract more talent. All of those things are very important for a company and the success of it, especially when a company is growing and scaling. Then definitely you need to have an organization and the processes around that to make sure that it performs to its maximum, as the product should itself as well. Here it's worth mentioning that there are, let's say, as a product manager, you'll be exposed to different levels, let's say, of a product and of the organization, depending on what company size you are in. So this is also important for someone who is a product manager who wants to advance their career. Potentially some changes in your career decisions can also have different, let's say, results in terms of the company size. For example, in startups, usually, these are fast-paced companies. A product manager is probably doing many more things in terms of spread than they would in a bigger organization. For example, they may be doing marketing as well. They need to look at the product, the whole product from scratch. They need to find the product market fit. They need to find the first customers. So they need to wear different hats, let's say. Maybe they need to support the product. They need to wear different hats in terms of their focus and delivery. While if you go to mid-sized companies, these companies probably have already an established product. They have a couple of product managers, maybe a few more. The product manager then is responsible for the whole life cycle, as I explained before. They are responsible for now collaborating more with other teams, ensuring that everyone is able to get the information that they need from product and things like that. And as you scale to larger sort of organizations, then you see much more sort of specific niches or specific areas that you're responsible for. Maybe you're responsible for a smaller or more specific part of the product. You have a large product team. You have a big organization which is hard to navigate, and you probably don't need to talk with everyone, but you need to find who your peers are in terms of getting your product in the market and getting back the feedback that you need. So different skills, you can build different skills basically depending on what company size you're in. And it's a good strategy if you want to hop between different company sizes, even between industries if you want to expand sort of your experience and your knowledge in order to advance your career and build more skills around that. Here it's just important to mention that we see things coming up all the time in terms of new technology advancements. We have I don't know, generative AI now. There are things that can assist a product manager. not only do the hustle, but also sort of help them in decision making, etc. It's good to keep an eye on those things. Definitely the rest of the things that you already know, like agile, I don't know, lean methodologies, product-led growth, all of those things, definitely important to embrace as a product manager, but also have a look at the technology trends, not only for your product, but also for you as a product manager in terms of the work that you are doing in order to make your life easier and more efficient. So final advice. Actually, you can read this. This is basically textbook advice that you would get from any sort of career advisor. But for me personally, I would probably like to give you like three advice as a product manager or a product leader that at least has helped me in my career. I think you would find them useful. So first thing is don't get stuck, let's say, to specific, let's say, methodologies that you read, and you definitely want to make sure that everyone is in your company is on board with those. So basically, do whatever works. This means that each company and its organization is special by its own. The people in them have specific different people, right? Different cultures. Doesn't mean that a process that you read off the internet will work for every company. So make sure that you adjust what you see, what you read, what you want to propose to the people that you have, the people you work with, in order to make sure that this is the best for them. This basically also leads me to the second sort of advice, which is if you are in a senior role or higher, and you are responsible also for your organization apart from your product, treat the organization like it is a product, right? In your product, you're trying to make everything very smooth for the user, no friction, everything sort of flows perfectly. That's how it should be done also for your organization and the processes, let's say, around that. Make sure that your employees, which are your users, have an easy experience in terms of collaboration, in terms of getting the information that they need. Do they have too many meetings? Are they productive? So all of those things you should keep a very close eye on and treat them as they are a user of your product, right? Make it as smooth and as efficient as possible for them. And last but not least, if you want to grow as a product leader, my advice would be don't try to keep everything, let's say, concentrate all the responsibilities for yourself, but try to help the people who are working for you grow. If they grow, then you grow as well, right? So give them responsibilities, give them opportunities to grow, let them drive initiatives. This is going to help you in the long run as well, so that then you can rely on them. They're becoming the next product leaders, and you can focus on more important things, and you have more time to do that. I hope that was useful, and thank you very much.